flying through the night, NASCAR dreams within our sight. Asphalt heroes in the fight, peacemakers gaining light so bright. Rev it up, feel the pace, speed hounds in the race. Feel the thrill, feel the chase, victory is our holy place. Throttle down, no time to waste, in this high-octane haste. Every corner, every taste, leads us closer to first place. Under lights, the engines scream, this is more than just a dream. Through the asphalt like a beam, racers' hearts with fervor gleam. In this game we find our might, push the pedal like the night. With each lap our spirits flight, racing on with all our might. Trucks flying through the night, NASCAR dreams within our sight. Asphalt heroes in the fight, peacemakers gaining life so bright. Rev it up, feel the pace, speed hounds in the race. Feel the thrill, feel the chase, victory is our holy place. Thrill the place, thrill the place. Throttle down, no time to waste, in this high-octane haste. Feel the thrill, feel the chase, victory is our holy place. Throttle down, no time to waste, in this high-octane haste. Every corner, every taste, leads us closer to first place. Throttle down, no time to waste, in this high-octane haste. In this high-octane haste, every corner, every taste, leads us closer to first place. Under lights, the engines scream, this is more than just a dream. Through the asphalt like a beam, racers' hearts with fervor gleam. In this game we find our might, push the pedal like the night. With each lap our spirits flight, racing on with all our might. With all our might. Thrill the place, thrill the place, thrill the place.
Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome in as we get ready to rumble here from the last great Coliseum for our first elimination race of the playoffs here with the HCK Beagles Truck Series. As every one of these drivers looking to try to put themselves up into victory lane here today, as it is the Freedom 175. The Freedom 175 here this evening, presented to you by Bronco Race Designs in Big Haas Motorsports here this evening. This is going to be a lot of fun. This is going to be a very, very good race. And if you guys are just tuning in, make sure you guys do us a favor, man. It's absolutely free to do. Helps us out a ton. Just keep those comments flowing. Keep saying hashtag Winker Nation. Keep cheering on your favorite drivers in the comment section. Keep those comments flowing, as every single comment helps push the stream out to more people. And then make sure you hit the like button, hit that share button. Make sure you guys just show the love and continue to show that support here this evening. And we're going to be doing a goal here over on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch combined. There's going to be some way that we're going to have to try to get it all hooked up here, as we're going to be doing if we can hit enough subscribers and or members. YouTube calls them members, Facebook and Twitch call them subscribers. What we're going to do is we're going to be shaving the beard off. Chat will shave the beard off. We'll go back to our baby face, maybe even do a haircut as well. And the subscribers or members there on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch, we'll put up some polls in the Discord, in the member, or in our paid subscribers Discord, about who wants to do what kind of style do you want? Do you want just a mustache? Do you want a handlebar mustache maybe, or just like a plain mohawk or just shave it all off and be completely bald. That's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have some good times with that, and we're going to set that goal probably tonight or tomorrow, sometime in there. It's we're going to get ready to rock and roll. We're going to get ready to set these drivers loose as it is the last great Coliseum, the Freedom 175 here tonight, man. This is going to be a lot of fun, and it's Mark Beverly with the quick time here in qualifying. He will start in that pole position with Jacob Grube there in second. Then we see that 34 Zach Michael, Brian Chu starting there in fourth. Chris Gilbert, Nate Maurer, Brandon Deming, Nathaniel Ostrowiecki, Nicholas Snyder, and Jason LePan in the Tech Warrior number 20 ride, rounding out our top 10. Alex Pelican will start there in 11th with Brad Lane back in 12th. Then we see that 27 ride of Nick Garner, Joshua Ledoux in the Dirt Track Junkies number 38 ride there in 14th. John Herbert, Bobby Blair, Tim Blankenbeckler in the Frets for Pence, the Juke Joint number 10 ride there in 17th. The 469 ride, that is Ryan Peterson there in 18th with John McCullich, Kyle Van Tassel, Cal Turbeville, and gate up Kevin Winker in the Muleburger Custom Homes number 42 ride, bringing up the rear of the field as we will end all the anticipation with our feature presentation as we are quickly green flag racing here at Bristol Motor Speedway as the Freedom 175 is underway, and it's the Asphalt Outlaws number 3 machine of Mark Beverly who leads lap number 1 here today. So Beverly out in front. Out in front, Jacob Grube there in second. Zach Michael quickly up into third. Starting to get a little bit more single file. Drivers know there's a lot of laps. There's a lot of time to try to move forward, try to keep yourself pointed the right direction. And now it's really going to come down to seeing if we get some big caution flags out there. This is a very small racetrack. It's the smallest racetrack in the NASCAR circuit here. And obviously what happens here at Bristol stays in Bristol, and the last great Coliseum always puts on a show. There's a lot of usual fireworks, not only in the sky but down on the racetrack as well, which makes it very, very fun to be here at Bristol each and every single time. So we could see a lot of emotions running high. We could see a lot of beating and banging, bumping out there on the speedway with a lot of caution flags, or we could see potentially a lot of very good green flag laps being laid down here. And that's going to be the big move for a lot of these drivers, trying to get some good laps in, trying to navigate your way forward. But then we get in quickly here to potentially running into lap traffic as the 3 ride out in front has no one in front of him. He's laying down great lap times. He's continuing to run in the 14-second bracket and continue to pull farther and farther away from Jacob Grube as we do see our first caution flag of the day. We figured it wouldn't take long, and here we go, only on lap number 6 here this evening, and we see our first yellow flag as Kevin Winker, K-Dub, gonna run into some issues here. K-Dub's at the back of the pack trying to get this Muleburger Custom Homes ride up towards the front, and it's Cal Turbeville in front of him, gets very, very loose, gets the 42 ride bent out of shape. He loses it coming out of corner number 4, goes around some slight contact there to the front end as he gets into the inside fence, and unfortunately there for Kevin Winker, that will put him a lap down as our race leader is going to get around him right there. But this is a tough break here for him. Obviously Cal sending it in there, just gets loose and slides down the racetrack. He's able to catch it, able to save it. Unfortunately for Winker, just getting up the track there and obviously trying to keep himself out of the wall. Loses the handle of this truck. Obviously a very, very tough spot for him to be in, obviously trying to avoid the 64, then trying to avoid driving into the outside fence. Obviously that truck going to get light on its toes. He goes around, and that will bring out our first caution flag here this evening in the Freedom 175 here today. Is 175 laps of racing action. Some pretty solid contact there on the front nose of that 42. He'll be taking it down pit side, looking to get some work done to it. We're going to see a lot of other drivers elect to come down pit road as well. Here comes Nicholas Snyder, Brad Lane down pit side, Alex Pelican, Joshua Ledoux, Nick Gardner, Bobby Blair, Ryan Peterson all headed down pit road. I do believe John Herbert had to make a unscheduled pit stop here. He is currently a lap down, but should be in the wave around position. Great break there for the 87 ride to get him back onto the lead lap. This is definitely not a track you want to have that penalty go a lap down early here, so good to get him back on the lead lap early on. Now, Kevin Winker, he's going to be looking for another quick caution flag here himself. He's going to want to try to get back on the lead lap here, as well as Bucky Bolin. Bucky says, we need a big night for Mr. Bloomingdale. Big Head, a.k.a. Brad Lane. Let's go, big boys. Cheering him on. Cheering on Mr. Lane out there on the Speedway. Looking for a big night here for that race line number 1 ride. As Janelle says, let's go. Dimitri says, let's go. The last great Coliseum. He says, yes, Sirski, you know it. Shauna says, Winker Nation. Same with Amanda Joy, Brandon Noah, all cheered on K-Dub here this evening. Bruce in the chat as well. How are you, Bruce? Bruce coming in showing the big love, says hashtag Winker Nation here this evening, as well as there's a bunch of Winker Nation fans in the stands cheering these guys on. As Bird, hopefully I'm saying that right. I'm probably getting it wrong. Mr. Anderson coming in says, go number 10. Cheered on Tim B here this evening as Tim Blankenbeckler now up inside the top 10 in that 10 ride. Tim rolls there in that 10th position, looking to keep it rolling towards the front of the field as we get that green flag out once again. Quick caution flags, and we're quickly back to battle here at Bristol as the 3 ride of Mark Beverly. We saw Beverly open up a pretty sizable lead here between himself and the rest of the field before that caution flag was thrown. He was out in front by about a second and a half, obviously just trying to run away from everybody else, trying to keep all these drivers back there at bay, but maybe being a little bit more aggressive with his tires there early in that run, so it could hurt him here in the longer half of this run. We'll have to wait and see what Jacob Grube and Chris Gilbert, Zach Michaels, some of these drivers have in their back pocket here to try to jump up and make the moves themselves to try to hunt him down, make their way around him, as we do see Tim Blankenbeckler now up 7 positions in that 10th position. John McCulloch, he's up 8 spots. He rolls there in 11th, but now you start to see some of those drivers that came down pit side that were a part of our top 10 or just outside the top 10 there before that caution flag. The 5 ride of Nicholas Snyder, he's moving forward, now back into 12th. Brad Lane right there behind him in that race line machine. Here comes Nick Gardner, here comes Bobby Blair, Alex Pelican, Joshua Ledoux, all these drivers quickly moving around Cal Turboville's. Unfortunately, Turboville here in that Klondike ride, obviously struggling a little bit here at the beautiful Bristol Motor Speedway. So for Cal, definitely not the run that he's been hoping for here today. We saw him obviously lose the handle of that truck, and that's what caused the 42 of Kevin Wenker to end up going around as well. And you see K-Dub, he's right now in front of John Herbert. Herbert was 2 laps down with an unscheduled pass through pit lane. And for Herbert, unfortunately, he was able to get the lucky dunk. He was able to get back to 1 lap down here, but now he's got to duke it out with Kevin Winker. This is the battle for that free pass, the lucky dog right now between Winker and John Herbert. Both these drivers battling for their playoff hopes and dreams here this evening. Now you do see John Herbert able to jump up and take that spot away from K-Dub. So Winker now back into 22nd here at the rear of the field. Herbert there in 21st, and now into that free pass position. But as we continue to lay down green flag laps, we do see Jacob Grube. He's able to make his move, get around our race leader, and we get a new race leader here at Bristol Motor Speedway as Jacob Grube out in front. Beverly now back into 2nd as Chris Gilbert there in 3rd. Zach Michael back in 4th. Brian Jew up inside the top 5 and looking for a drive here this evening. A tough week last Tuesday night for him, and if you guys do hear popping going off in the background, you probably shouldn't hear it, but the mic may pick it up. It picks up a lot of noise. Fireworks outside. I could probably get the camera and show you guys, because I can usually see at least the bigger, higher up fireworks, as it's only a couple blocks away from me, but the township does their big fireworks display here tonight, as it is Canada Day up here in Canada, chat. I don't know if you guys knew that or not. I know you guys celebrate the 4th of July, which I do believe will be celebrated this weekend coming up. This weekend was more of the Canada Day weekend, and obviously today being Canada Day, July 1st, that's where we celebrate our independence, I think, something like that. I'm not 100% sure, but I think that's what it is, as fireworks going off, everyone partying. So it's been a good weekend, but I didn't really do anything. I was up here in the booth. I was up here in the booth all weekend, man. We don't celebrate holidays here on Peacemaker Gaming. We unless they're American holidays, then we celebrate them, but not really. As Jacob Grube out in front, Grube leads the way here with Chris Gilbert still there in second. Is Gilbert able to also work his way around Mark Beverly? Beverly, as we talked about early on in those first 5-6 laps, opened up a big lead. That was probably putting a lot of stress onto those tires compared to the drivers back behind him, and that may be what's kind of just forced him back here into that third position, or at least forced his hand to maybe try to save a little bit more now that he's kind of back here. So we'll have to wait and see how Mark can trying to navigate his way back to the front of the field here as Jacob Grube and Gilbert both on the march to the front here as Zach Michael there in position number 4, looking for more than 51 ride. Brian Chu trying to hang on to 5th here is Nate Maurer, Brandon Domingue, Jason LePan now up inside the top 8. Nathaniel Ostrowitzki there in 9th, and Tim Blankenbeckler doing a fantastic job here this evening, still rolling in that 10th position here. There's a bit of a gap between himself and Nicholas Snyder. Bobby Blair now up into 12th is Brad Lane there in 13th. Alex Pelican back in 14th with Nick Gardner, Joshua Ledoux, Ryan Peterson, John McCulloch, Kyle Van Tassel, John Herbert, Kevin Winker, and now Cal Turbeville. Turbeville is down pit road here. Unfortunately, he's been down pit side since lap 22. And for the Klondike 64 machine, they're a pretty good stint there not too long ago. We saw him pick up the win in Charlotte. Obviously having some good races, some great runs in this Klondike ride. It's tough to see him down pit side here right now. He is already about 10 laps down and looks like potentially his night may be done. As Gregory Turner says, dang it, Winker. Dang it, he says. Gosh, dang it, Winker. Winker always messing things up here on these streams. I'm just kidding. Winker always having some good fun here, and he's in the chat as well early on. He said, let's go, Mr. Beverly on pole. Mr. Beverly was blazing fast there in qualifying, and he still has a pretty fast car, as now you do see Jacob Grube. Grube slides back into third as Chris Gilbert now out in front. Beverly back into second here, and Jacob Grube, he's starting to slide back here. He's starting to feel that pressure, starting to fade away just a little bit here in this race. As Mr. Turner coming in with the like on the stream. Caleb Ramsey with that thumbs up. HCK Beagles coming in with that share. Dimitri Curtis with the share, and Frets for Bets coming in with the share over there on Facebook, as well as K-Dub, Mr. Winker himself coming in with that thumbs up there on the Facebook stream. As HTK Beagles says, dang Winker, dang it Winker. Cheered on Winker here this evening, and yeah, Winker bringing up that first caution flag, and right now our only caution flag here in this race. As Janelle says, Team HP Motorsports, hashtag Ridge Power Sports, hashtag KR Gutters, cheered on Peterson, Herbert, Blair, and Van Tassel here this evening. And for all those Ridge rides, they're trying to race their way up towards the front of the field, as you do see a couple of them trying to navigate their way up into the top 10. You do see that Ridge Power Sports KR Gutter 75 ride of Bobby Blair. Bobby rolls there in the 12th position. He's trying to navigate his way up inside the top 10 right now. A little farther back, you do see Ryan Peterson there in the beautiful 469 ride, always looking fresh out there on the Speedway, man. That's a beautiful looking Ridge Power Sports ride out there on the racetrack. Kyle Van Tassel not too far behind him. Another beautiful, very patriotic paint scheme out there with the American flags and those ridges there on the Ridge ride here this evening. John Herbert, unfortunately, is a lap down here, but another beautiful looking car, man. These guys really stepped up their game with these paint colors and their paint schemes here the last little bit, and you do see the Sky Soldiers logo on the hood of that 87 ride. Huge shout out there to John Herbert, still running this beautiful Memorial Day paint scheme here, still supporting the troops and having that American flag there on that 87 ride. Always looking good here. And now he's in a tough position out there on the racetrack right now for this 27 machine, as right now he is a lap down out on the racetrack. Now he does not want to fall 2 laps down, and he doesn't want to see more drivers potentially go a lap down here. If Kyle Van tassel does go a lap down. That will take John Herbert momentarily out of that free pass position. And our race leaders, they are not too far. You see him right there in the frame. Here comes that 45 of Gilbert, the 3 of Mark Beverly. They are closing in on the 13 ride in a quick hurry. And as they pass this 13 ride, they may jump up and put him into the free pass position, where if we get a caution flag right about as soon as they pass him here, he'll be in that lucky dog position right about now. So now into that free pass spot for the 13 ride. That's a tough break there for obviously John Herbert and Kevin Winker, another driver onto the lap down category here this evening. And for a lot of these cats, it could continue to keep on flying like that, man. We could see a lot more drivers, unfortunately, go a lap down here in this race, as it doesn't take long. It doesn't take much to go a lap down here. It's only about 15, 16-second laps, so you fall back, half a second a lap or something like that. If you're struggling out on the racetrack, it's only, 15, 20 laps, and all of a sudden, you're going a lap down out on the racetrack. So you got to be very, very cautious of that gap and trying to keep yourself on the lead lap here this evening. As you see Mark Beverly and Chris Gilbert, they're still running nose to tail virtually there on the racetrack, and they're starting to run into some more lap traffic here as Ryan Peterson, another Ridge Power Sports ride, about to go a lap down here. And unfortunately for 3 of them early on in this race, potentially could go a lap down out there on the racetrack. So this is going to be a lot of fun. This is going to be interesting to see kind of how this is all going to play out. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of different strategies. Green flag pit stops potentially on the horizon here for a lot of these drivers. As ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you haven't already, make sure you guys hit that like button for us right now. Hit that thumbs up button, hit that share button, hit that follow and subscribe button. Become part of the Peacemaker family here today as the Freedom 175 live from Bristol Motor Speedway in full swing here today. As out in front, it's Chris Gilbert continuing to lead this race, but right there behind him, our pole sitter and early race leader, it's Mark Beverly working to his back bumper. Brian Chu now up into third here, as Chu's been able to work himself around not only Nate Maurer, but also around Jacob Grube here. So True, on the way to the front here as Group slides back into 4th. Maurer there in 5th. Zach Michael now back into position number 6 as he rolls around the lap traffic there. That 469 ride of Peterson, unfortunately going to fall farther and farther behind our race leader. And right now, he is in that free pass position. He's hoping that John McCullich and crew and all these other drivers in front of him can stay on the lead lap here today before our first caution flag, as we're already blazing through all of these laps out there on the racetrack. These drivers really clicking them off in a quick hurry, and that's just showing you the testament of how good these drivers are, and at the same point in time, how difficult this racetrack can be and how difficult this race really can be. You're running these laps in, sub 16-second lap times, so really you're constantly on the throttle, off the throttle, braking hard, making these corners work, making sure that you're right on the edge of your seat, right on the edge of how fast you can go and how fast you feel comfortable out there on the speedway to run these really good lap times, to put yourself into a good position. You start to make a couple mistakes, you start to feel that fatigue, you start to get a little bit crazy out there, or start to run 2-3 wide, you can easily put yourself into a bad position, get into that outside fence, spin yourself around, potentially have speeding penalties here down pit road. That's going to be the big question mark here, I think, for a lot of these drivers, are going to be green flag pit stops. If we see green flag pit stops here this evening, if a no caution flag flies, a lot of these drivers gonna have to come down pit road, and this is a racetrack where making that green flag pit stop, you can easily go 2-3 laps down out there on the racetrack if our race leaders keep on rolling. So you want to be kind of good on the strategy side of that. If you come down a little too early, yes, you'll have better tires, yes, you'll be running quicker lap times, but if you come down pit lane too early, you run a couple laps and get a caution flag, and all of a sudden you get trapped a couple laps down, it's going to be very tough to battle back from that. So you got to be very mindful and mind your P's and Q's when it comes to trying to head down pit side here at Bristol. So it's going to be a tight one, as you do see Mark Beverly able to jump up and take that race lead back away from Chris Gilbert. Gilbert slides back into second here on the speedway as Jake Jacob Grube has worked his way back around the 51 of Brian Chu. Chu back into fourth. Here comes Nate Maurer. Maurer in that beautiful DSR Electric 971 ride. A pair of those DSR Electric rides up inside the top 5 here on the racetrack as Brian Chu and Nate Maurer, teammates, rolling out there on the speedways. You do see Kyle Van Tassel. Van Tassel looks like he may be one of the first drivers to head down pit side here this evening. Now, with this being said, there were some drivers that came down during that first caution flag. Some drivers came down pit road, got fuel, maybe not tires, but definitely got some fuel into their trucks. And when we look at that, it's only 8 laps, but that could be a huge difference maker if everyone's forced to come down pit road. If gas starts to come into play here and they roll out there for an extra 8 laps, there's a lot that can happen in an 8-lap gap out there on the speedway. There could be a couple caution flags. We could see at least a caution flag where that could put a lot of these other drivers that have yet to come down pit road down a lap, 2 laps, 3 laps. Who knows how many laps they could go down pit side here. So you got to be very mindful of that. And obviously that strategy may play out perfectly for drivers like Nicholas Snyder, Bobby Blair, Alex Pelican, Nick Gardner. These are drivers that came down pit road. They're on lap number 8. Brad Lane, Joshua Ledoux, all coming down pit road. They're all still on the lead lap, and it could work out into their favor for Ledoux. Right now, he's just trying to keep himself in front of our race leaders as Mark Beverly not too far behind here, as Beverly now going to put the 21 ride of John McCulloch. McCulloch in the Tech Warrior Bob Smoke 22, number 21 ride, now a lap down out there on the racetrack. Now, he is in the free pass position currently, so we'll have to wait and see how that's going to work out for him, as we do see Jason LePan, his Tech Warrior teammate, down pit side here. So LePan comes down pit road. So LePan, the second driver, but one of our lead lap drivers, to head down pit side here and make that green flag pit stop. Now for Jason LePan, this can either be make or break on his evening as he rolls back up the speed right now. It is showing out he's probably about 2, almost 3 laps down out there on the racetrack, so it's going to be tough for him to try to battle back. We'll have to wait and see if everything kind of goes to plan, if we do see drivers head down pit road, and obviously see this entire pit cycle kind of cycle through here today, as we will see now Chris Gilbert, our second place driver, he heads down pit road. John McCulloch, after going a lap down, he's down pit side as well, as Gilbert heads down into his pit lane here this evening. And now I'm not sure if it is I know Gregory is probably watching still in the chat. I don't know if he's over on Facebook or YouTube, but Gregory, is it 2 lane pit stops here during green flag, or is it down to 1? Because we did see the 45 ride, obviously due to the whole trip around here. I'm just not sure if it goes to the single lane. It looks like it must be the double lane pit stops here for all these drivers during green flag action. I know in normal NASCAR racing, if it's green flag pit stops here at Bristol, all you have to do is go down your straightaway, your pit lane here at Bristol. During caution, they make you go all the way around from the first corner to, well, technically the second corner, all the way to the first corner to go around the racetrack there. So, going to be interesting to see if that is a thing or if that is not the thing. We'll have to wait and see, as we do see Mark Beverly. Mark heads down pit road here, so our race leader now down pit side. That will bring Jacob Grube. It will bring Zach Michael and the 10 ride of Tim Blankenbeckler all down pit road. And now, not too long after, here comes Brian Chu. Here comes Brandon Deming. Nathaniel Ostrowiecki is now, they're all starting to flood down pit side here. We'll have to wait and see if there's any calls on the radio here for potentially mistakes or penalties down pit road, as McCulloch, it looks like potentially a problem here with McCulloch. It looks like he's still down pit side, and it looks like maybe he may have gotten a penalty here today, as he's been parked down there for quite a while now, and that is a tough break there for him, as Chris Gilbert already rolling out there on the racetrack. We saw Gilbert and McCulloch come down pit side virtually at the same time, and it looks like a penalty of some sort to that Tech Warrior number 21 machine, and for McCulloch, and it's going to put him a lot of laps down out there on the racetrack. You do not want to get a hole. You do not want to have a problem down pit road. As here comes Nate Maurer. You did see Brian Chu, Brandon Deming, Nathaniel Ostrowiecki. They're down pit side. They're getting their pit stops finished. Here comes the 87 ride of John Herbert. Herbert heads down pit road, but now we see a lot of these drivers that came down pit road there during lap number 8. It's Nicholas Snyder, Gardner, Bobby Blair. They are out in front. They're leading this race right now. You see the fresher tires working around them as there goes that number 18 rider, Jacob Grube, just flying by our race leader, Nicholas Snyder, right now. But Snyder and all these other drivers, they got a few more laps in their gas tanks here this evening that they can try to hope and see if there's going to be a caution flag. Obviously, there's still other slower drivers out there, and those fresh tires could potentially run over top of somebody, but it looks like Nick Snyder is not going to wait much longer. He will head down pit road. Same with Alex Pelican in that Celsius. Busey's Bucky's number 16 ride here this evening also heads down pit road. Here comes the Dirt Track Junkies Longhorn number 38 ride. That's Joshua Ledoux. Ledoux down pit road here, working on his car now as they'll get ready for his pit stop here this evening. And now we do see Bobby Blair, Brad Lane, they head down pit road, as well as Nick Garner, the only driver out there. But now here he comes. So looks like it will kind of cycle things around here. All these drivers headed down pit side. There's that 469 rider, Ryan Peterson, also making his pit stop. K-Dub Kevin Winker, he isn't coming down pit road as of yet. He's hanging out there, obviously, early on, running into that issue, going around there to bring up that first caution flag, and then obviously going a lap down because of that. He's trying to battle back now, trying to play some strategy here to maybe potentially get him back on the lead lap or give him a good break here. If we do see a caution flag, it would put him back onto the lead lap, and right now he's got only about 4 other drivers that are currently still on the lead lap right now. So if he can roll out there for another 5-6 laps or something like that, it may be his best bet to try to leapfrog a lot of drivers and potentially put himself into a better position here today. Is Brian, what's good, Brian? Brian coming in, show the love, drop that like on the stream over there on Facebook. How are you, Brian? Brian coming in, showing the big love here. I appreciate that, brother. As woo, he says, Bradley getting that W tonight. He says he's winning it. He's winning it, he is. Okay, all right, let's see. Maybe Bradley will get her done. B. Radley, he may get it done here this evening. It's going to be tough. This is a tough racetrack, man. You're really going to have all the cards fold perfectly into your favor here this evening. You don't want to make a mistake. One simple slip up, one simple mistake out there on the racetrack, all of a sudden you find yourself multiple laps down and trying to make bold strategy calls like we see out of this 42 rider, Kevin Winker, right now, as he continues to roll out there. Now, the strategy, maybe it works out into his favor, maybe it hurts him here. Maybe it'll put him, too far back where he will never be able to get back onto the lead lap here today, other than if he would have just came down pit road a little earlier. But for right now, this long green flag run, obviously everyone else using their fresher tires. He's yet to come down and put those fresh tires onto the 42, so he's running slower than them right now. But if he comes down pit road here in a little bit, he could potentially be one of the faster cars out there on the racetrack and could potentially drive this truck back up, gain another lap back, or maybe even get a couple back and help his situation out, maybe just a little bit more here with the longer run in this stage, as all these drivers there open to try to make it to the end here. But I have a sneaky suspicion if we do stay clean and green for another long green flag run here, we keep it going, we keep it flowing here, I do believe we will see probably another set of green flag pit stops, probably around lap 120, 130, somewhere in there is probably when drivers will probably head back down to pit side here this evening, as I don't believe they'll be able to make it here on this next stop. As you see, K-Dub heads down pit road as Mark Beverly out in front reconsumes that race lead. So Beverly now our race leader. Chris Gilbert a little ways back behind, about 2.5 seconds. Now the gap between first and second. Brian Chu there in third with Nate Maurer in fourth. Jacob Grube back in fifth. And then we see Brandon Domingue, Nicholas Snyder, Jason LePan there in eighth. Zach Michael back in ninth. And then we see Nathaniel Ostrowiecki rounding out our top 10 on the racetrack. Nick Garner there in 11th with Alex Pelican there in 12th. And Tim Blankenbackler now back into 13th. Unfortunately for Tim, as of right now, he is behind our race leader. He's in that free pass position, though. If we see a caution flag fly, he could get that wave around and back onto the lead lap. Is there you do see that 42 of Mr. Kevin Winker rolling back out onto the racetrack here now for K-Dub. He's just completing lap number 93 as our race leaders are just on lap number 96, so he's virtually about 3 laps down right now. If he can get around our race leader here, could put himself to 2 laps down, which could be manageable. It's going to be very tough to try to get those laps back and get him into a position to try to get back into it, as we'll have to wait and see how it plays out. As you do see that 13 ride, that's Kyle Van Tassel. Van Tassel is going to go 3 laps down here as well, and that is a bass for position there for Kevin Winker as Winker gets around that 13 ride, jumps up now into the 17th spot on the Speedway, and right there in front of him is our race leader, that 3 machine of Mark Beverly. Beverly now struggling here a little bit as the 10 ride of Tim Blankenbeckler does get around him here. That will put Tim back onto the lead lap, so a great break right there for that Frets for Pets number 10 machine here this evening. Now you do see the 42 of Kevin Winker able to get around our race leader as well. That will put King Dub now 2 laps down out there on the racetrack. So at least a little bit better, a little bit more solid here on the evening, only being a couple laps down compared to being a 3 laps down. It's a little bit more manageable to try to get yourself back into the racing action, back into the battles here this evening. So we'll have to wait and see kind of how it plays out for him, as the gap was about 2.5 seconds here with Chris Gilbert. He is closing the gap here on Mark Beverly. Obviously, Beverly in some heavy traffic there, getting passed by the 10, getting passed by the 42 ride. It's allowing Chris Gilbert to close that gap and reel in to that number 3 machine. Brian Chu there in 3rd. Nate Maurer, Jacob Grube, our top 5. Snyder back in 6th with Brandon Deming, Zach Michael, Jason LePan, and Nick Gardner rounding out our top 10 here at Bristol. Is already over 100 laps of racing action down here at the last great Coliseum, as it is the Freedom 175 here this evening. The Freedom 175 presented to you by Bronco Race Designs and Big Hoss Motorsports here this evening. Huge shout out there to Bronco Race Designs, and a huge shout out to Big Hoss Motorsports here as well, coming on board, being our race sponsor here today. As you do see that 3 machine of Mark Beverly going to move around the Ridge Power Sports KR Gutters number 87 ride. That is an unfortunate break right there, as unfortunately for the 87 of John Herbert, that will put him I do believe 2 laps down now on the racetrack. Maybe even 3 laps down, 3 laps down, something like that. K-Dub right in front of him here, and then obviously our race leader, and we do see a few more drivers now a lap down as Brad Lane. He's a lap down here. Lane trying to hunt down our race leader, wants to put himself back on the lead lap. Same with Bobby Blair. These were 2 drivers that were battling just inside and just outside our top 10 there before green flag pit stops for Bobby Blair. It has sent him back here. He went from inside the top 10 to all of a sudden back here into about the 15th position, a lap down. Brad Lane was right around the 12th, 13th position before those green flag pit stops. Now sits there in 14th and currently a lap down, but he does have a little bit better tires than our race leaders. He was down pit side on lap number 83 compared to our race leader Mark Beverly, who was down pit road on lap number 75. Gilbert was down pit lane there on 71. Chu down 76. Maurer just a lap after there in 77. So it's going to be kind of interesting here to see how these tires are going to kind of roll up here and how these cars are going to manage obviously all the different tire wear, the different speeds that drivers may be going, or how good or bad these tires may be later in this run. As Bucky says, this race is going by quicker than my Xfinity fast internet. Oh baby, hey listen, we ain't giving no shout outs to Xfinity. We don't have Xfinity up here in Canada, okay? It's Canada Day. It's as fast as a moose up here in Canada, okay? That's pretty dang quick, okay there, bud? Okay, that's pretty dang quick. Okay, I'm not going to lie. That's pretty quick. Okay, as Mark Beverly, though, out in front. Beverly, he is quick out here on the Speedway as Beverly leads the way. Chris Gilbert there in position number 2. Brian Chu, though, right there in 3rd. Chu trying to race his way up here to the front of the field as Wooey says, I once saw Brad drive a race truck 50 speed bumps and didn't damage the truck. I can see that. I can see that. At least 50 speed bumps. I feel like I saw the video for that. It was pretty cool. He got some pretty good air there. He was just flying right across them. It was pretty badass. Just to show how good Brad Lane is in these NASCAR trucks, man, and the things that he can do. I don't think any other driver could do what he did there, but he was able to do a pretty good job of doing that. That's for certain. As Beverly right now, he's doing a pretty dang good job out in front as he has been able to put his foot back into the throttle. He's starting to open up that lead more and more and more between himself and Chris Gilbert. Gilbert now about 3.8 seconds behind our race leader as Mark Beverly out in front and pulling away here from the rest of the field. He was able to get back around Tim Blankenbeckler, put him back to position number 12 here. Still a lap down out there on the racetrack as you do see this big gaggle of cars. Oh, baby, this is some interesting racing right here. This is some tight racing. Jason LePan, unfortunately, he's a couple laps down here. He did come back down pit road around lap 111, so he's got very fresh tires here, but making that additional pit stop, he's a couple laps down out on the racetrack. For John Herbert, the 10 ride, they're all a lap down here. Brad Lane a lap down. He's kind of stuck right in behind these guys, trying to navigate his way through that battle and all that action there as Gilbert continues to slide backwards. It's bringing Nate Maurer right to his back bumper. Is now the 45 up and into the outside fence. Oh, baby, look out. The caution flag will fly. Tim Blankenbeckler and John Herbert get tied together down on the bottom side of corner number 3 and 4. And the caution flag will fly here for the second time this evening. So our caution flag going to come back out here in this one. And oh, baby, that's going to spice things up here as we get later and later into this race. The intensity going to continue to drive up more and more and more, and we quickly see drivers head down pit road here. I don't even know if pit lane is already open, but we see Nate Maurer, Brian Chu, Nicholas Snyder, Jacob Group, Brandon Deming, Nick Gardner, Alex Pelican, Zach Michael, Nathaniel Ostrowiecki all head down pit side. Mark Beverly did not come down pit road right there, so I'm not sure if pit lane, looks like pit lane is closed here, and you see Chris Gilbert coming down pit side, so I think this is an iRacing bug that has been happening here to quite a lot of races where pit lane just doesn't seem to open, or sometimes it's closed, and it definitely has been affecting a lot of these races, but I'm sure our admin crew will go through it, give everyone their positions back, and make sure that this is a fair trade here as all these drivers will get down into their pit stalls, make sure they make the right calls and put themselves into the correct positions here this evening. It's Jonathan. What's good, Mr. Wiley? Jonathan coming in, showing the love, dropping that like on the stream. How are you, Jonathan? As Mr. Muleburger. What's good, Bruce? Bruce showing the love over there on Facebook as well, smashing that thumbs up button, hitting that like button here this evening. I appreciate that, brother. As ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is perfect timing right now to quickly, hit that like button for us. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Become a brand new member of the Peacemaker family here today. Become a follower. Become a subscriber. Hit that join button. Become part of our members group, or potentially hit that subscribe button over on Twitch and Facebook, and become part of our subscribers group over there. Let's take a look back here at what happened to bring this caution flag out. Tim Blankenbeckler was having a great run here. We saw the battling that they were going through here, and all of a sudden, looks like a big run down low for the 87 ride of John Herbert, and then not sure. It looks like the 10 maybe comes down. The 87 kind of coming up right there on corner exit. And all of a sudden, they just kind of run out of room and run into each other here. Let's see if we can get another angle at this one. As watch the 10. He's trying to keep himself out of the fence. I think he's getting a little tight right here. And kind of comes down a little bit. The 87 kind of coming up. And all of a sudden, this run out of room, man. That is hard racing here at Bristol. That's going to happen 9 times out of 10, unfortunately. Heavy hit there for Tim Blankenbeckler. And obviously, the 87 ride, he's trying to stay out of it more. And Tim, he's got really no control of that car, spinning backwards here. And obviously, they wash up the racetrack onto the racing surface. And that will bring the caution flag out. And watch the 971 right there of Nate Maurer. Maurer was battling, trying to take over position number 3, our position number 2 on the racetrack. He was running in 3rd, and all of a sudden, this is right in front of his lap, and this one almost took him out of this race. He was trying to pass that 45, and he sees these guys and just able to get up and avoid them, and that is a very, very good break there for Nate Maurer. That now puts Maurer to the front of the field as we are quickly back to green flag racing. Green flag quickly back out into the air as Maurer has that race lead. Snyder there in 2nd with Jacob Grube back in 3rd. Brian Chu there in 4th with Brandon Domingue. Nick Gardner, the 34 rider. Zach Michael rolls there in 7th. Then we see Mark Beverly back here in 8th. Unfortunately for Beverly, not coming down pit side with all those other drivers, and that kind of put him back here a little deeper in the field, and that is a heartbreaker for him. But now we do see another caution flag fly. So cautions breeding cautions here today, and this time it is the 45 ride who also kind of got a little bit messed up there with those pit stops, and all of a sudden the 45 just down and out of corner number 2 here. Not sure what happens here. The truck just gets very, very loose. He tries to correct it, and all of a sudden that thing just kind of continues to step out and around on him right there, and it's just going to go for a little bit of a slide down on corner exit. Good piece of driving there by Beverly to get up and out of the way to avoid running into him. Same with the 16 ride as that Busey's machine, the Bucky's ride of Mr. Pelican able to get up, and everyone else able to avoid him as he washes down the racetrack and up into the start-finish line right there. Flagman getting a great look at it as he went for the slide down at a corner number 4, stops there at the flag stand, and quickly the yellow flag is out for the yellow truck, and that means we'll get them all ready to rock and roll, ready to go back to green flag racing. Here in this one is Nate Maurer out in front, the DSR electric ride at the front of the field here this evening, looking to try to put himself up and into victory lane here in our first elimination race of the season. This is our first elimination race here this playoff session. So for these drivers, we started with 20 drivers here in this first round. 20 drivers made it into our playoffs here this year. Unfortunately, after tonight, that will be knocked down to only 10 drivers left in our playoffs. So 10 drivers will be eliminated. 10 drivers will move on into our next 3-race round. In this next round, the 10 drivers that are still in the playoffs will duke it out, and at the end of those 3 races, only 5 drivers will advance into our final round of racing action, where this year it's a little bit different. Last year we tried something different. We went with 2 races in the final round instead of our normal 1. Normally it's usually 1 and done, and you see someone pick up a championship, but we want to make things a little bit more spicy, a little bit more interesting, and now instead of going with 2 races in that final round for our championship 5, it will be 3 races. 3 races in that final round for our championship 5 drivers to try to navigate their way in to our championship here this year. So it's really putting it into the drivers' hands in what they need to do, how they need to maneuver and navigate these races and those playoff races to try to put themselves into that position to potentially win this season. As our next round, round 2, we'll have Milwaukee, Talladega, and Kansas. Our final round will have Texas, Richmond, and Michigan. So there are 3 different racetracks virtually at every single round, and it's going to make things very, very fun, very, very interesting, especially for that second round going to Talladega Super Speedway, where you never know when the big one may happen. The big one may happen here at Bristol as well. As out in front, Nate Maurer, he's trying to run away with it, wants to keep himself at the front of the pack and out of trouble. Deeper in the field as Nicholas Snyder rolls there in second. Here comes Grube. Grube rolls there in that 3rd position with Nick Gardner now up into position number 4 as he works down to the inside of that Florida Cabinet number 51 machine. The Florida Cabinet Distributors ride of Brian Chu rolls there in that 5th position. Here comes Mark Beverly. Beverly has led the most laps here this evening. Started on that pole position as well in that Asheville Outlaws Bronco Race Designs number 3 ride of Mark Beverly trying to race his way back up to the front of the field. As Jacob Grube now rolling to his outside here. Grube actually falling back now into about the 4th, 5th position as Brian Chu Looks like Chu sliding back here as well. As here comes Nathaniel Ostrowiecki. Chris Gilbert right there ready to pounce. Here comes Brandon Domingue. Zach Michael now rounding out our top 10 as Alex Pelican there in 11th. Brad Lane there in 12th. Back on the lead lap there for Brad Lane as now we do see Nathaniel Ostrowiecki slow down on the inside of the racetrack here. I'm not sure what happened there to Ostrowiecki, but he was very slow off that corner. I'm not sure if, right there, maybe a little contact right here for this 14 ride. Let's take a look back at it. This is going to be a little bit farther away, but I do believe he's going to get a little contact, maybe a little push. Nope, just looks like he gets in there too far. Gets that truck sideways. Obviously, just lucky enough to catch that thing. Doesn't go all the way around. Able to keep it clean and green, but he does lose a ton of track position. And Nathaniel goes from battling inside the top 10 to now all the way back in position number 13. Moving, Alex Pelican into the 10th position. Brad Lane there in 11th. Bobby Blair now up into 12th as Ostrowiecki, the last car on the lead lap. And for Kevin Winker, he played that strategy. May have worked out for him here as he is now only one lap down. He's in that free pass position. If we get another caution flag, he could get the wave around and back onto the lead lap here this evening for that Muehlberger Custom Homes number 42 ride. And what a blessing it would be for that number 42 ride here today. As out in front, it's Nate Maurer leading the way here, and there's the caution flag that Winker was looking for. The caution flag will fly here as 142 laps completed. We will see what is our fourth caution flag of the day here this evening. As let's take a look back at it. Zach Michael, Chris Gilbert, Joshua Ledoux look like they all get tied up in this one. Let's take a look at it as the Quick Tile 34 ride sends it down into the corner. Unfortunately, just loses the rear end. And he may have been losing it because the 45 ride. Oh, man, tough break here for Chris Gilbert. Looks like Gilbert and the 27 going to get tied together here. Take a look at it here. A big run for Chris Gilbert. Shoots it down to the inside here underneath of Nick Gardner. Unfortunately, as he sends it in there, just does not get down to the inside lane. And unfortunately, drives up into that left rear quarter panel of the 27 ride. Puts Nick Gardner up into the outside fence. And then the 47 trying to hang on to it, trying to collect it. Ends up spinning it around up into the wall there himself. Heavy hit for him. And then obviously, this is where we're going to see the 34 ride slide in there. He's trying to keep himself out of it. Here comes Brad Lane. Here comes the 38 ride. Lane's going to end up getting some pretty good damage in that race line machine. The 38 ride sliding sideways down through the infield there, right on the apron, trying to keep himself from driving into it and getting some heavy damage there himself. And there goes Kevin Winker, able to just get right on through it here. The carnage, it looks like a war zone down here on the front straightaway. And luckily enough for K-Dub, he's able to keep himself out of all that action, out of the caution flag there, and keep himself rolling. See if we can jump on board here with Kevin Winker, see what he can see here from the cockpit as our lucky dog driver. He's a little farther back, so he's got a little bit more time to kind of prepare for it, but these corners are very tight. They're very see, you can barely get checked up right there. Luckily enough, finds a hole, able to shoot it there and put himself into that lucky dog spot to put himself now back onto the lead lap. Let's see if we can get a look here at Chris Gilbert and what he was seeing here, as obviously the 45 ride just gets a big run here at a core number 2. Sends it in down low underneath Gardner here, and then, just gets tight, gets into him there. Then obviously trying to correct it up into the fence here. Then everyone else going to slide in there, and there goes the 34, around goes the 38. Brad Lane with some contact there. Tough hits for a lot of these drivers, and that will stack us up and ready to rock and roll here once again. As tower operator says, guess who's back? Back again. Winker's back. He's back again. Yes, Sirski. K-Dub back on the lead lap, back into the action here this evening. I'll have to wait and see what K-Dub can do and see if he can try to put himself up here in this one. As, man, that's going to be a lot of fun. As Matt Langley says, my boy got a contract with the Pens, 2-way contract. AHL goalie, go Luke Kavillin. Hopefully I'm saying that right. It's Kavillin. Good shit, man. Good shit. Getting that NHL contract and a little 2-way contract, maybe up into the NHL. That's pretty dope, man. That's always amazing, and it's always awesome to see that. It's Mark Beverly back out in front, has that race lead. Nate Maurer, though, right here behind him. Maurer did come down pit side. Beverly elected to get that track position. Did not come down pit road right there as Groob up into third. Here comes Nicholas Snyder. Nick Gardner now back inside the top 5 as Brandon Ming rolls there in position number 6. Alex Pelican They're in 7th. Then we see Zach Michael, Brian Chu, and Brad Lane rounding out the top 10 here this evening as there's contact. Look out, the 14 ride gets sideways there after a little bit of a bump and run from the 51 ride. No caution flag. We keep it clean and green. That's a heartbreaker there for Nathaniel Ostrowiecki. Let's see if we can play that one back. Is obviously some contact here. I'm not sure if it was Brian Chu who ended up getting him there. Looks like maybe it was looks like the 20 ride. Jason LePan here. LePan trying to race his way back towards the lead lap here. Ends up, it's the 14, kind of cut down there a little bit. Maybe the 20 ride kind of pushes up. Unfortunately, they make contact in LePan and the 14, and all of a sudden the 14 ride up into the outside fence. Heavy damage there on the right side for that car, and definitely not the way he wanted things to go here in this one. And there is the caution flag again. Caution flag will come back out. Is Brian Chu? I feel like I may have jinxed him here. I said his name. I thought that's the car that ran into problems there with Nathaniel Ostrowiecki. Unfortunately, it was not. And Brian Chu going around, heavy damage here on this ride. Let's take a look and see what happens here. Oh, him in the 34. They just run out of room here. I'm not sure if Chu thought he was clear on the high side. Moves up the racetrack here, and all of a sudden he just kind of comes up and over the nose here of this 34 ride. And obviously nowhere else to go there. If you're the 34 or Zach Michael, you got nothing you can do. And obviously with this 51 point the wrong direction, it's up there on the racetrack. Caution flag quickly comes out here, and that means another yellow flag, another opportunity for drivers to come down pit side and maybe make some changes. As you do see tires going on to the 16 truck of Alex Pelican. Nick Gardner, he's getting some tires. Nathaniel Ostrowiecki will be headed down pit side looking to get a little bit of changes here onto his truck, and obviously some repairs as well. As you can see Nick Gardner, Brian Chu down pit road. He's trying to get those repairs. Kevin Winker came back down pit side here. So for K-Dub, another pit stop there for him. Maybe if he can try to slide his way up inside the top 10 here and salvage a very good day at the Speedway. And for Mark Beverly, he's out in front here. He likes to see that caution flag because that's going to kind of give him a little extra fuel, make sure that he's feeling comfortable here late in this race. That fuel will not be an issue, and maybe this will help balance out the tires a little bit for the few drivers that are back there behind them that may have thrown tires on. So potentially kind of sitting in a decent spot here. Track position, never bad to have out there on the Speedway, and we'll get ready to see how this one plays out, man. Still a lot of laps. Not really a lot of laps. They click these laps off in a quick hurry. We can see these laps disappear and dissipate out there on the Speedway virtually instantly here on the evening. So we'll have to keep an eye on it here as these laps are going to click off a lot quicker than what we're going to be thinking here. As obviously down across the line, they click off lap 155, meaning we got 20 laps of racing action left here in this race. 20 laps left here in the Freedom 175, presented by Bronco Race Designs and the, let me get this correct. I want to make sure I get this correct. Big Hoss Motorsports as well. So huge shout out again to Bronco Race Designs. If you guys need a new paint scheme or anything on your trunks, any of your cars, dirt cars, asphalt cars here in iRacing, get a hold of Bronco Race Designs. They'll get you hooked up here looking fresh out there on the racetrack. And huge shout out to Big Hoss Motorsports as well for jumping in and being our sponsor here this evening. As here we go, back to green flag racing as the 3 ride gets a solid jump right there. Great jump for that number 3 machine as the Asphalt Outlaws Mark Beverly ride looking to try to keep all these drivers back there at bay. But here comes Nate Maurer. Maurer quickly to his back bumper. Here comes Nicholas Snyder as well. Snyder getting a big run to the outside here in this one. Here comes Snyder. Here comes the 971. It's tight racing here at the front of the field. Is there door to door down into corner number 3. Mark Beverly trying to hang on to it. Unfortunately, he's sliding backwards as there goes Nate Maurer back to the point. So Maurer out in front. Snyder back to second. Here comes Jacob Grube. Here comes Zach Michael, the 75 right of Bobby Blair. He's right there into the battle. Here comes Gardner, Brad Lane, Alex Pelican, and Kevin Winker. K-Dub now trying to race his way up inside the top 10 here this evening in that Muleburger Custom Homes number 42 machine. As K-Dub now into the 10th position. Brad Lane right there to his outside, up and into 9th. He looks to work his way around the 27 machine of Nick Gardner. Obviously, a couple different lines, and all these drivers trying to work their way up to the front of the field. As out in front, it is this 971 ride of Nate Maurer. Maurer with the race lead down across the line will click off another lap, and I do believe we got 14 laps left to go here this evening. Snyder right there behind him in position number 2. Jacob Grube there in third. This could be a tight battle here late in this race as the 3 ride of Mark Beverly trying to hold on to that 4th position here, but quickly as Brandon Domingue, Bobby Blair, Zach Michael, all these drivers quickly to his back bumper here as now you do see K-Dub, Kevin Winker trying to navigate his way around the 27 ride here of Nick Gardner, and this is making this battle very, very tight. Nick obviously struggling there a little bit down low. The 1 ride up on the high side getting a little tight. He's struggling, and now they're going to have the 3 ride right there as well. So quickly, Kevin Winker jumps down low and looks like the inside lane going to clear. The outside lane with ease as Beverly continues to fall backwards and making that outside lane go back as well. As Brad Lane and the 34 both losing a couple spots out there on the racetrack because of it. And now you do see Kevin Winker, K-Dub up and in to position number 7. But it's all Nate Maurer out in front with only 10 laps left to go here from Bristol Motor Speedway. It is the last great Coliseum for a reason, as these drivers have been warriors all night long, and they have been duking it out, and they're not done yet. They'll give it everything they got here in our closing laps as here comes Snyder down to the inside. Maurer tags the wall, loses some momentum down the back straightaway as the 5 right of Snyder will look to jump up, slides in front of him. Here comes the crossover of the DSR Electric 971 as Nate Maurer, Nicholas Snyder, they're battling here for the top spot. They make contact, they're beating and banging. Snyder up into the fence. Snyder bounces it off the wall there. Heavy contact between Maurer and Snyder. Snyder not going to be very happy with that one, and I'm sure some pretty solid contact there into Nate Maurer's ride. That may open up the door here for Jacob Grube to poke his nose right into this battle for the race lead. And now behind them, here comes the 75 of Bobby Blair. Bobby looking to put the Ridge Power Sports KR Gutter 75 ride up inside the top 3, and all of a sudden, where did he come from? It's K-Dub, Kevin Winker. Winker now works his way into position number 4, and he's looking for more. In our first elimination race of the playoffs, it's going to be a wild one here at Bristol with only 5 laps left to go. 4 more this time by the start-finish line. 4 more laps left in this race as Nate Maurer out in front looking to hold off Jacob Grube, Bobby Blair, Kevin Winker, and now Brandon Domingue, our top 10 out there on the racetrack. Snyder with that heavy right front damage after getting tagged and pushed up into the outside fence. Unfortunately, the Snyder Bikes racing ride sliding backwards now into the 7th position as there goes Nick Gardner. Now here comes Alex Pelican to get around him. Brad Lane may gain another position to work himself up inside the top 8 as Zach Michael right there rounding out our top 10. Beverly back in 11th. Nathaniel Ostrowiecki, Brian Chu, Tim Blankenbeckler, and Jason LePan round out our top 15 as a caution flag is going to fly. A late race caution flag will be displayed, and we will head to NASCAR overtime here this evening with the HCK Beagles Truck Series. As the Freedom 175, it's not over yet. We were a lap and a half away from seeing that checkered flag fly, but the caution flag will come back out as it looks like Jason LePan gonna run into some issues here. LePan was just in front of that 3 right of Mark Beverly. He got up into the outside fence right there on corner exit and sends it into corner number 3 and 4, and all of a sudden just loses that rear end, slides that truck around, tags the inside fence. Heavy damage there for him, and obviously that truck rolls back up here and pointing the wrong direction on the racetrack. Flagman right there gets a quick look at it and quickly throws that yellow flag. So that's what brings out our late race caution flag, and now it is going to be an absolute dogfight here for the win here this evening. Who do you guys think gets it done? Who will put themselves up into victory lane? Will it be Maurer, Jacob Grube? Do we see a driver like Bobby Blair or Kevin Winker find their way up into victory lane? Not too long ago, K-Dub was 3 laps down during our green flag pit stops, and K-Dub was able to race his way back to 2 laps down, 1 lap down, and now back onto the lead lap up inside our top 5 and looking to try to pick up the checkered flag here this evening. As Gregory Turner, my boy Gregory, coming in, setting it off here. The big D of the day. Greg coming in with a 500-star donation over there on Facebook, brother. I appreciate that. That $5 USD dono over there on FB. I appreciate that, my boy, showing the big love here in this one. And, man, we can't wait to see how this one's going to play. This is going to get very, very crazy in a quick hurry. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you guys have been enjoying this racing action, make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that follow and subscribe button as we'll get ready to set these drivers back loose. We'll get ready to go back to battle here this evening as, oh, baby, it's about to get spicy. That may not be our only caution flag. This may be only our first attempt at NASCAR overtime here this evening, as let's go through how that's going to work out. It will be a 2-lap shootout. If we do see the white flag fly before the caution flag, then it will end this race no matter what. If we take the white flag, the next flag will end this race, and we will race back to the checkered flag. If we see the yellow flag come out before the white flag, then we will rack them up, we will stack them up, and we will try it all over again as we will get ready to see how it's going to play out. Nate Maurer looking for the restart of his life as here we go. He gets a great launch, exactly what he was looking for. Maurer onto the lap pedal. Jacob Grube right there trying to keep himself rolling in position number 2. Seeing if he can try to close that gap. You do see K-Dub, Kevin Winker banks it off the outside fence, able to keep it rolling though, as he looks to the outside here of the 75 of Bobby Blair as the white flag has been displayed. So the next flag will end this race no matter what, is Nate Maurer for the final time here this evening down the back straightaway into corner number 3. Nice and easy out of 4. Jacob Grube can't get there as Nate Maurer picks up the checkered flag here at Bristol Motor Speedway in the HCK Beagles Truck Series as the Freedom 175 goes to the 971 machine of Nate Maurer. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up here for our race winner as Maurer picks up the dub, and he will get to celebrate here this evening in the last great Coliseum, Bristol Motor Speedway. Maurer picks up the dub. Grube comes home in second, and Mr. Where Did He Come From? It's K-Dub, Winker Nation, coming home in position number 3 here this evening to round out our podium here in Bristol, as Bobby Blair, Nick Gardner, our top 5, Alex Pelican, Zach Michael, Brandon Deming, Brad Lane, and Nicholas Snyder round out our top 10 here this evening as the 971, the DSR electric ride of Nate Maurer gets to celebrate. He gets ready to party hardy here this evening after picking up the big dub here today, and we'll get ready to pull our race winner and the rest of our top 3 up and into the broadcast booth here for their post-race interviews. As, man, what an exciting race, man. That was such a great battle, so intense, so amazing to see these guys duke it out like that here late in this race, man. That was a ton of fun. That was probably one of the best races here on the year. Obviously, Bristol, we can have 15, 20 caution flags at a short track like Bristol. We didn't really see too many yellows. It was, 5, 6 caution flags there? Very, I would say, low amount of yellow flags for pretty much any league to come here to Bristol and not have that, little amount of caution flags. So, a round of applause to all these drivers, man. A lot of good green flag racing out there, a lot of good runs, and obviously late in the race we're going to see those yellows, we're going to see those late race cautions. That's going to happen no matter what, as we'll get ready here to pull in our top 3 in just a couple more seconds here, waiting for Maurer and the rest of our podium finishers to jump up into the waiting room here for us, as Bucky says prime position for Big Head Lane to take the win. He says, oh my, he says. Yeah, that was definitely an oh my moment out there. His tower operator says, good race, good broadcast. I appreciate that, tower operator. I appreciate you, Mr. Muleberger, coming in, showing the love here in this one. As ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up here to our race winner, Nate Maurer. Nathan Maurer coming home here in the top spot. Let's get him up into the booth. Hey, Nate, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. To get a copy?
I got you, buddy. How you doing?
Not too bad, Nate, man. What a run. What a race, man. Take us back through this one. Obviously, a lot of back and forth, a lot of different pitch strategies and long green flag runs, and then the short runs here late in this race. And somehow or another, you're able to navigate your way here up to the front of the field. Obviously, getting around Mark Beverly there, and then holding off Jacob Crew, battling hard there with that number 5 ride of Nicholas Snyder, beating and banging, rubbing elbows and fenders up there, and you're able to come out on top, though, even with that green-white checkered, holding these guys off and pulling yourself up and into the victory lane here at the last great Coliseum, man. Take us back through this race and what's going through your mind right now as you pull up and get to celebrate here in the Bass Pro Shop victory lane.
It's kind of a meaningless win. Got taken out the first round of the playoffs at Darlington by a lapper. So that's too many points back. So this win doesn't really mean anything, honestly. I wish I knew what happened between me and Nick Snyder there. I was actually kind of excited to race him. And kind of didn't really throw the slider, just ran the bottom there. And I kind of let off the gas to do a crossover. And then exiting the next turn, I'm sideways looking at the wall. And I straightened it up. And he started dropping. I was hoping he was going to gather it up so we could keep going at it. I don't know what happened there. I didn't even go back and watch yet. But, yeah, my teammates are all worried about their points, but there's only 22 guys in here. I was like, you guys are safe. Just finish the race, which, yeah, it's awesome that we got another win for the team, but I wish I was advancing on the next round. But, yeah, that what really helped. I mean, I guess I was third when that one caution came out and the 2 leaders, the pits opened. I know you got to really slow down. This track's funny. When you got the single pit road, you can really get screwed on the pit opening. You gotta, like, if you're the leader, caution comes out, you gotta, like, slow down immediately and not catch up to that pace car and just wait for the pit road to open. But no, I mean, yeah, I'm glad I'm here. Glad I'm talking to you again, buddy.
Absolutely, mister. It's always a good time having you up here in the booth. Obviously, sucks to hear about you not being able to advance into the next round of the playoffs, but you gave it a valiant effort. Nothing better that you could do than win this race. Obviously, maybe a few more drivers had a rougher go, a tougher race out there, or a worse finish. Potentially could have put yourself into that position to leapfrog them and put yourself into the playoffs, but coming up just a little bit shy here this evening. But, man, that's got to feel good, though, being able to still jump out there and put on a battle and put on a show like you guys did here in this race this evening, as that was a lot of fun. I'm sure the fans in the stands appreciate everything you guys were doing out there on the racetrack.
Yeah, just I'm ready for next season. I'm coming back next season. I want to run the full. I didn't run the whole season here with these boys, but when I come back, I seriously feel like I get treated like a rookie in here sometimes. I mean, absolutely wrecked 2 weeks ago at Darlington for no reason, and I love racing Nick. I love racing Nick Snyder. I just hope that wasn't my fault tonight. But try to earn some respect from these boys, because there's some heavy hitters in here, and keep battling for wins against them each week.
Yeah, absolutely. And going back and just like from what I could see there with the contact between you and Nick was just more or less a racing deal, man. You guys were just tight battling there for the race lead late in the race here. We could have potentially not seen another caution flag, and that could have been potentially the battle for the win here this evening. So just
That's
tight
what I wanted.
racing.
That's what I wanted.
Good contact there, and obviously you guys are just battling hard, and as you guys kind of made that final little bit of contact, you kind of went down the track, he went up the track, and unfortunately got up into the outside fence, and then obviously got some pretty good right front damage there on that 5 ride. So a tough break for him. I'm sure he's still moving on to the next round after a couple solid performances here in the playoffs already, but for yourself, obviously not having that opportunity, but being able to pick up the checker flag here tonight, and I'm sure you'd love to kind of play spoiler to a lot of other drivers' hopes here this season, and maybe jump in for the final 6 races and try to put yourself up here into victory lane in all 6 of those races.
Yeah, but I gotta get off here. But good talking to you, buddy. Just shout out to all the boys that keep this thing running. 22 cars in here, I guess, for the playoffs isn't terrible, especially for at Bristol. But shout out to you, buddy, up in the booth. I'll go watch the broadcast right after I'm done talking to you in bed. You do a hell of a job up there, bud. Shout out to my 2 teammates, Brandon and Brian. Hopefully one of them can rattle some cages and get the championship against these heavy hitters in here. And yeah, that's about it.
Beauty. Well, Nate, enjoy the rest of your night. Congratulations on the win, and hopefully we'll see you right back up here in the booth next Tuesday.
All right, thanks, buddy. You guys have a good night.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our race winner, Nate Mowers. Maurer picks up the dub here this evening. Heck of a run, heck of a drive for that 971 ride here today. As we'll get ready now to pull in our second place finisher, it's Jacob Grube. Grube comes home here in position number 2. Let's get him up into the booth. Hey, Jacob, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. They get a copy?
Loud and clear.
Jacob, brother, man, another great run, great drive out there on the Speedway here tonight, man. Take us back through this one. There's obviously a lot of different strategies going on there, especially, throughout that long green flag run. When do you come down pit side, get those fresh tires, or just, try to get that fuel, and everyone kind of playing these different games, and obviously it almost worked out perfectly for you. You come home in second there. I think if it wasn't a green-white checkered and you had 5 laps or so there, you might have been able to jump up and find your way around Nate Maurer there. Just ran out of time late in this race.
Yeah, that was a fun race. Hats off to Maurer. It was a good race. Good win there. Yeah, it was just lots of fun out there tonight. Just trying to be smart. So whatever everybody else did, that's what I did. Just try to stay on strategy with them and not try to keep it clean out on track. And if the win was there, I was going to try and take it, but I wasn't going to try to push the issue too much and stay in a good points position going forward.
Yeah, obviously trying to gain as many points as possible, knowing that it's the first elimination race here of the season. So how are you feeling? Obviously, you had a good run last week. I feel like you did fairly decent there at Darlington. Then a second place run here tonight. You got to be feeling pretty confident on being able to transfer through and make it into that second round of the playoffs.
Yeah, I feel like I was pretty good this round with the tracks. The next round is going to be some challenges, especially I think the next race is Milwaukee Mile, which I don't think I don't remember that one too much. So it's going to take some hard work and practice to get prepared for that one.
Yeah, definitely going to be a lot of practice. I'm sure a lot of drivers are going to be kind of in that same boat, trying to figure out, how to run that track, how to navigate there. And then, obviously, you throw in a wild card like Talladega there for a second race to really mix things up even more here for you drivers. But I do see that it is a couple weeks away. So next week, we are off for the July 4th celebrations, I'm assuming, or just a summer break there a little bit. So we're off for an extra week. Gives you a little extra time there to try to work on your skills and try to get tested and tune in there and make sure that you're ready to go and ready to roll there for Milwaukee.
Yep, absolutely. I'm gonna enjoy that week off and get some good practice in and come ready next race.
Absolutely, brother. Well, Jacob, another solid run, another great drive here tonight for you, man. Who would you like to thank for such a great performance out there on the Speedway?
Of course, I just want to thank our sponsors, especially to our team, Pop Smoke, and I'm drawing a blank.
Tech Warrior.
Tech Warrior, yes, absolutely. Thank you for that, Aaron, and thanks to you for making the call. I'm gonna enjoy watching this one tomorrow.
Absolutely, brother. Definitely a very, very fun race. And the fans in the stands, they seem to love it all night long as you guys put on a hell of a show for everyone here to watch and enjoy here this evening. And we can't wait to see you guys do it again in a couple weeks from the Milwaukee Mile and see what that track's going to have in store for us, man. It's going to be a lot of fun. We can't wait to see you out there.
Yes, sir. Have a good one.
You too. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our second place finisher, Jacob Grube. Grube comes home there in position number 2. Solid run, solid drive there for that number 18 machine. As now we'll get ready to pull in our third place finisher. It's our third place driver. It's K-Dub, Kevin Winker. Winker comes home here in position number 3 here this evening. Let's get him up into the booth. Hey, Kevin, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. You get a copy?
Yeah, I got you, man.
Kev, brother, did you think at any point in this race for the first 140 laps that you'd be up here in the broadcast booth after this race?
If we didn't get a caution there, I was gonna make it on fuel. So yes, I did at one point, but early in the race, no, I thought I was done. I spun there. I think 64 got square in front of me and overreacting and spun myself out, no damage, but got a lap down, and then we had a long green flag run there. I think it was like, I don't even know how many laps it was, but I stretched as far as I could, and I was actually good to make it to the end there. and everybody else left the pit. So I was sitting in the catbird seat, but then I had to pit because I ran out of gas, obviously, and then I was 3 laps down. Then the caution came out, and I was like, "Oh, this is screwed." And then I just kind of was clawing my way back there, and finally got back on the lead lap, and took tires there on the last caution, and just full sent it. Basically, I was surprised it stuck. I mean, I don't know. I'm still in shock I made it up here, honestly, after the night I had, and kind of my luck with stuff like that goes. So I'll gladly take it. I advanced on the next round, unlike last season where I got eliminated in the first round, so I'm on the second round, so I'll take it. And yeah, I mean, it was that was a talk about a attrition night and battle and never give up attitude. That's what that was right there. If anybody's watching, so just never give up. You never know what you can end up with finishing the race in.
Exactly. It's never about how hard you get knocked down. It's about how you get back up and keep fighting. And here tonight, man, you never stopped fighting, kept on rolling those different strategies, and it worked out very, very good for you, man. As I thought it was going to be dang near impossible. As we saw you kind of go 2 laps down there, it's such a tough thing with so many other drivers going a lap or multiple laps down there as well. It's tough to claw yourself back, but you were able to do that here tonight, man. Not a lot of drivers can get those laps back, and especially with not really too many caution flags throughout the evening, to be able to gain all that track position back out there. And then here you are working your way up there back into the lead lap, and then you have to work yourself through some of the carnage and some of the mayhem. Obviously 2 wide, 3 wide battles there, and all of a sudden we see just steamroll up and through the top 10, up inside the top 5 there, and then obviously on that green white checkered not getting the greatest restart with Groob there on the outside lane, but you're able to stay door-to-door Bobby Blair and then steal that 3rd spot away from Bobby.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping the leaders would take the top. I think I would have had a better shot. I always thought the top was kind of better in restarts, but again, he was the leader, so he could take whatever lane he wants. But I think if he would have taken a top, I would have been a better shot. But overall, I mean, I cannot complain with a 3rd place after tonight. Like that's unheard of. I mean, I will gladly take that, any week, and hopefully we can keep this momentum up going into Milwaukee, my home track. I've ran a couple races there. It's okay track for me. Just kind of same mindset, kind of lay low and be the dark horse, I guess. People really don't talk about me much. I don't have a win this season. I only have a couple top 5s, but I always seem to kind of, climb my way up there and find myself in a decent finishing spot. So we'll go there, and then hopefully Dago, we can. That's my bread and butter right there. And if I got Mark helping me there, I know we're pretty badass together on plate tracks. So hopefully, next round we can keep this momentum up, and then maybe advance to the championship round. But yeah, I mean tonight was. I don't even know, man. I'm still stunned that I'm up here, so I'll take it.
Absolutely, brother. Well, Cav, that was a run and a battle there. Of the ages, man. That was absolutely amazing. The just the determination you had there and everything else, and to be able to rebound and drive yourself up here onto the podium was a hell of a performance, man. And who would you like to thank for such a great run like that today?
Yeah, as always, I'm going to shout out to my sponsor, Bruce Muehlberger, Muehlberg Custom Homes. Come aboard and sponsor me in all my leagues and sponsoring this league as well. It was a huge supporter of mine and always watched tonight, so I'm happy we got this on the podium for you, Bruce. I know you're happy when we get up here, so I'm proud to run your sponsor and logo on my truck. So good about that. And then all Winker Nation, Shauna, Amanda, Jessica, Haley, Brandon, Justin, Brett, Nicole, Dylan, Gordon, whoever else is out there that support me. I don't even know. Can't thank you guys enough for tuning in every night and watching. I know it takes a lot to watch us. So thanks for the commitment and support me in my hobby. So it means a lot. Nate Cogdell at Sonic Graphic Design for the paint. If you need any paint stickers, t-shirts, and stuff, you can check them out at Sonic Graphic Design. Mark Beverly, he had a hell of a race. He kind of got screwed there over on the pit cycle. The pits opened, or I don't know how it worked, but he got stuck behind all those guys, and he wasn't very happy. He had like 8-second lead. I think he had this one in the bag if it would have stayed green. So I hate that for him. He's really good here. But yeah, I love racing with that guy. It's always a blast racing him in the race and in Discord. He's funny and all that stuff. So shout out to you, Mark, if you're still watching. I hate it for you, man, but we'll go get him next week, and then all the league admins that put this on. I know it's a lot of work, including myself, especially tonight. We got to go over some stuff, but for Bristol, it was a pretty good race. I gotta say, I thought there was a lot more wrecks, but everybody kept it pretty clean, everything. So shout out to everybody again in the league for keeping it clean and all that, and all the respect. And then last but not least, you, Aaron, for putting on the broadcast, man. You put on a hell of a job, and I love going back and watching your stuff. So keep up the good work.
I appreciate that, brother. And Kev, I appreciate the hell of an effort you had here, being able to rebound and park that ride up here onto the podium. It's always good to have you up here into the booth, and obviously making more of a thing of it now that we're into the playoffs here this season. And hopefully you keep that trend going, and more opportunities for you to be up here talking to me after these races, brother. A heck of a run, heck of a drive, and hopefully we'll see you back up here in the booth in a couple weeks' time when we head to Milwaukee Mile.
Sounds good, man. Thank you. Have a good night, everybody.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our third place finisher, Kevin Winker. Winker coming home third here in the Freedom 175 at Bristol Motor Speedway here this evening. Bristol, man, such a fun racetrack, such an amazing racetrack. And again, here tonight, putting on another amazing show for all the fans of the stands, for me up in the booth, and for all these drivers, man. I know there's probably going to be some tempers flaring. I'm sure if this was real life, there'd be a couple fights down on pit lane between these guys. But hopefully, you know, in the end, everyone still had a good time, enjoyed their evening here on the sim, and enjoyed this good, hard racing action once again from the last great Coliseum. And a huge shout out there to the Freedom 175 here this evening. A huge shout out to Bronco Race Designs. I want to shout out Bronco Race Designs here once again. Bronco Race Designs coming in as our race sponsor here this evening, so a huge shout out to them. Huge shout out as well to Big Hoss Motorsports as well, jumping on board, being one of our co-sponsors here of this feature event this evening, and being a part of the Freedom 175 here at Bristol Motor Speedway. So again, shout out to Bronco Race Designs and Big Hoss Motorsports, and a big shout out to all of you guys, all the fans of the stands. You guys coming in, showing the love here all evening long, all the likes, the comments, the shares, everyone coming in with just the love and support here throughout the evening. Any of the new followers, any of the new subscribers over there on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, I appreciate each and every single one of you guys, and everyone just tuning in, man, enjoying your Tuesday afternoon here. And for any of the Canadians that were watching, if there were any other Canadians watching, happy Canada Day, and hopefully you have yourself a wonderful July 1st. Right now, the fireworks are going off like crazy here. Obviously, the township that I live in, they're doing their fireworks display as we speak. I can hear them going off like crazy right now. It is just non-stop, and luckily enough, I don't have a dog, so it's not going crazy. My cats are probably thinking, what the is that? It probably sounds like a war out there to them, but nonetheless, it's been a great day, an amazing Canada Day, and I can't thank you guys enough for being here and hanging out with us here this evening, and I can't wait to see you guys back up here in the booth, and we'll be back up in the booth, and we'll see you guys back in the grandstands hopefully tomorrow night, as we'll be back out there and put on some more great racing action for all the fans of the stands tomorrow evening, and hopefully we'll see you guys there. But thank y'all for watching, thank y'all for tuning in, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace and love, babe. Peace and love, ladies and gentlemen.
Friends for pets! Friends for pets! Trucks flying through the night, NASCAR dreams within our sight. Asphalt heroes in the fight, peacemakers gaining light so bright. Revving it up, down, no time to waste. In this high-octane haste, every corner, every taste leads us closer to first place. Under lights, the engines scream. This is more than just a dream. Through the asphalt like a beam, racers' hearts with fervor gleam. In this game we find our might. Push the pedal like the night. With each lap our spirits flight. Racing on with all our might. Trucks flying through the night. NASCAR dreams within our sight. Asphalt heroes in the fight. Peacemakers gaming life so bright. Rev it up, feel the pace. Speed hounds in grace. Feel the thrill, feel the chase. Victory is our holy place. Thrill the place. Thrill the place. Throttle down, no time to waste. In this high-octane haste, feel the thrill, feel the chase. Victory is our holy place. Throttle down, no time to waste. In this high-octane haste, every corner, every taste leads us closer to first place. Throttle down, no time to waste. In this high-octane haste, in this high-octane haste, every corner, every taste leads us closer to first place. Under lights, the engines scream. This is more than just a dream. Through the asphalt like a beam, racers' hearts with fervor gleam. In this game we find our might. Push the pedal like the night. With each lap our spirits flight. Racing on with all our might.